There has been some talk of a possible Shedeur Sanders to the Miami Dolphins. What? Should they do it? Would they do it? Could they do it? Wait 3 seconds and I'll tell you. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, Adam Schefter came out and he said a little something, and now people are out here kind of wondering and thinking and linking about the possibility of would the Dolphins not trade, but draft Shedeur Sanders if he is there at 13. So we're going to talk about that. But first, real quick, I'm going to talk about a visit that the Miami Dolphins are getting yesterday, or they got yesterday, from a potential draft pick, and that is Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor came in and he met with the Miami Dolphins. Oh, it's happening tonight, tomorrow night, Thursday night. I honestly didn't remember what day it was. He's coming in, he's having a dinner with the Dolphins, which, interesting. Dolphins would like to add a backup tight end. And I do like Mason Taylor. I don't remember where I had him ranked in my tight ends. I think I had him third, possibly fourth. I think it was third or fourth. But it's interesting. Dolphins also had some other guys come in. So among those auditioning for the Dolphins on Friday, a slew of UM players: receiver Sam Brown, Jacoby George, cornerback Daryl Porter Jr., as many others, several FIU players, including tight end Josiah Mainman, Vanderbilt defensive tackle, defensive back Terrell Russell, Louisiana Tech receiver Abdul Ibrahim, FAU defensive tackle Devontae Davis, and former Miami Northwestern running back Nate Knoll. So the Dolphins are going to have a bunch of people come in. So that's just, I want to give you a little tidbit, a little update information on the draft. And now we'll talk about the big elephant in the room. Adam Schefter on he was on like a radio show or a TV show or something, said after this year, there is a way out of that Tua contract. With the health questions, maybe, I'm not telling you they're going to do it. We're talking and imagining, I'm not completely dismissing it, on the potential of drafting Shedeur Sanders if he is there at 13. And I have talked about this a lot, and I'm obviously going to show you again. There is an out. Again, you could trade him post June 1st. You eat a big dead cap in 2026, right? $4.5 million. But you save 11.2 million, right? There's also the potential of a post June 1st trade where you save 43 million, but you still have to deal with that 45.2 million, right? But you save more. They just spread it out. So the dead cap isn't so big in 2026, but it's kind of like rip the Band-Aid off if you want to and trade him. So there is the potential out after this season if the Dolphins wanted to. And again, Tyreek Hill, you cut him, you save an instant 33.6 million, and there's all this other stuff that could happen. But here's my thought process, and here's my thing on this, right? If Shedeur Sanders is there at 13, would the Dolphins draft him? Now, Shedeur and Tua kind of have similar attributes, not the strongest of arms, if you watched his pro day, Shedeur didn't throw any out routes. Omar Kelly informed me of that, which I thought was very interesting. The difference is Shedeur does have a little bit more of that athleticism that gives him the little bit of an edge up. But they both have accuracy, anticipation, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. So as Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier, are you going to sit there at 13 and pull a trigger on Shedeur Sanders, or you're sitting there at 13 and the Pittsburgh Steelers or any of these teams that are potentially behind at 13 want Shedeur, are going to give up a lot? Again, it would be nice to have more picks in the top 100 to move up to 13 to get Shedeur Sanders. Which one would you do? Now, people who don't like Tua and people who think Shedeur is a heads over heels, much better quarterback, and we're just a quarterback away from, beating the Bills, beating the Chiefs, beating the Ravens, beating, whoever AFC team you want to throw out there, then they're going to say, yeah, you take Shedeur. It's an easy answer. I don't understand what this conversation's about. But if you take a step back and you look at the terrain of the Miami Dolphins, or the landscape is what I wanted to say, of the Miami Dolphins, there's a lot of big, fat, ugly question marks, right? Will Mike McDaniel be the coach next year? Will Chris Greer be the coach, the GM next year? New GMs and coaches want to draft their own quarterbacks, and the draft next year has better quarterbacks than they do this year. And you can get a better quarterback, not necessarily Archie Manning with the first overall pick, but if you're in that same vicinity of top 10, top 13, whatever, you can get a better quarterback than, in my opinion, Shedeur Sanders. So you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, we'll take this guy, but, he might not be on the team. And then that's, will he start? If he doesn't start, then it's a wasted year, because again, if he doesn't play, he doesn't. There's so many questions where you can trade back and build it right and add the right players. Now, again, you could say, well, Doug, that kind of doesn't make sense as well, because if you trade back and you want to build and add, that's kind of for the future type thing. And there is no future in your mind. You're correct. There is no future, but you have a better chance of adding more solid starters. Now, it's been said ad nauseum. I've heard many people say the top 100, you want a lot of draft picks, because you can get some solid starters in that top 100 picks. So the Dolphins need a lot. And I'm going to do a video on it. Needs going into the draft, but corner 2, left guard. We need at least 3 more defensive linemen, because again, I'm not in the mentality of you only need 3 starters. Yes, but you need a rotation, and these guys in the trenches get banged up. I would like to add another starting safety. We have 2 guys that are solid, but not crazy. If we can add Emmanuel Wari, I would love that, or Malachi Starks. This is what I'm saying. You could possibly trade back from 13, use the fact that Shedeur made it to 13, get you could possibly get first next year for the jump that some of these players or some of these teams might make to move up to get into that situation. Because right now, you're looking at 13, right? You look at some of these teams that are behind the Miami Dolphins that might want to move up and get a Shedeur Sanders, right? You have Seattle. Does Seattle need a quarterback? Didn't they just get a quarterback? Am I losing my... Oh, yes, they did. Sam Bradford. I'm like, well, what am I doing? Darnold, not Bradford. But you have teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hey, if Shedeur Sanders is sitting there, how much longer are you going to have Baker for? You got the Pittsburgh Steelers. You could possibly move up Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh desperately needs a quarterback. To go from 21 to 13, 21 is a nice spot that you could still get really good players. Like, I wouldn't mind taking a Tyler Booker at 21, or a Jahad Barron at 21, a Nick Emanwari at 21. Kenneth Grant at 21, Gray Zabel at 21, like all of, being further back, taking those types of guys, Derek Harmon, fast, big defensive tackle at 21, and then you can build up on picks, because it's going to take a lot to jump from 21 to 13. And again, if Shedeur Sanders is sitting there, why not move it back again? Because there is no definite future with the front office. Houston's good at quarterback. Rams. Could the Rams want to jump up from 26? That's about it, though. Then you're looking at like dropping all the way back down to the second round. Say the Giants don't take a quarterback. Say the Browns don't get a quarterback. Say the Raiders might want to grab a quarterback. Then you're looking at, they're going to have to jump back up into the first and then jump back up to 13. But if you're sitting there at 13 and Shedeur's there and your phone is ringing, who says no to adding more draft picks? Who says no to moving back and adding all this talent? That's just my thought process on it. But here, I'm going to give you an unbiased take Will the Dolphins draft Shedeur if he's at 13? No. I will bet you anything. I am 98% sure that if Shedeur Sanders is at 13, the Miami Dolphins will not draft him and probably will trade back and get as many picks as they possibly can. Would I do it? I don't think that him being so similar to Tua, obviously Tua has the health issues and he's not as mobile as Shedeur. I'm just like, to me, I would like to add more players than just one in an area that isn't as big of a need and isn't a hole on the team. I know you want to upgrade the quarterback. Some of you guys want to upgrade that quarterback position, but we literally have holes in other positions on the team. So for me, no. And do I think the team will? Absolutely not. But comment below. Let me know what you think. Would you draft Shedeur if he's sitting at 13, or would you take the money essentially and get all the draft picks you can from a quarterback needy team that wants to jump up? Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you tomorrow. I think tomorrow we will do maybe. I think next week I'm going to start reacting to mock drafts. And I know the week after that, I'm going to start doing mock drafts. And then we still have to do defensive line prospects. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I don't know. Stay tuned. Like usual, stay classy. If it's up.